Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share updates on my collection. I'm going to show you everything in bloom with my orchids and Hoyas and share progress that I made after I came back from my trip. So I'm really happy with the collection right now. I have a lot of Cattleyas in bloom at the moment. I flushed my collection 2 weeks ago. I'm really happy about it. I should be flushing monthly, but it's a very overwhelming thing for me. I only do it usually every 3 months, but I got it done. I treated the collection. I had spider mites before, and I was able to get rid of them. You'll notice that I'm touching this bloom over here that I thought had spider mites on it, and it did not. Thank goodness. So I was able to take care of it. But the biggest progress that I made in the last week or so is that I repotted 20 different orchids. So I'm really happy about it. I got to get to the shelf though. I'm dreading it because there's so much there. But I've got a lot in bloom. This one is my Croniana Super Silver. This one doesn't stop blooming and it sheds, so it creates quite a big mess, but it's really nice. And I made the most progress on this shelf. So I got rid of everything that was in a Deli container. They had a lot of algae, so some of the orchids were suffering in that setup. Not all of them, but I got everything in bark and moss there, and I'm slowly chugging away. So let me show you everything in bloom for the month of June. First up, we have the Brassolaelio Cattleya Hawaiian Leopard Ling, and this is a beautiful hybrid. So it bloomed for me one time before, but the blooms came out kind of wonky. It was a tiny seedling, and this time around they came out better. Now, it's not perfectly symmetrical, and that's because these buds had a lot of happy sap, so they got stuck when they were opening, and I had to kind of help it open. And I recorded it pretty shortly after they opened, and it actually sorted itself out after a couple of days and became more symmetrical. But I have both parents to this orchid, actually, the Wine Leopard. It's got the lip from that orchid, and it does have the fragrance as well. So it's got kind of that spicy rose fragrance, a little bit more subdued though, but it takes a lot of that velvet lip from the Wine Leopard. I love Richard Mueller hybrids. This one will probably bloom more often than that one, so it'll be a keeper in this collection. Next up, we have the Phalaenopsis LD Sunrose LD. And this beautiful orchid I repotted a year ago. Even though roots are starting to grow out of it, I am not in a rush to repot it. I want to leave my orchids in sphagnum moss in the setup for 2 years unless it's completely growing out of the pot. But I just use very high quality sphagnum moss. I order it in bulk from Sunset Valley Orchids. I think I paid $140 for a 3 kilogram bale. I don't remember how much it was, but it was something big, and I've had it for 2 years and it's still plenty. So I'm just taking my time with it. The quality was really good on the moss, so I'm not trying to repot all the time. So this is going to chill here for a bit. The blooms are super cute. I love the little pattern on it, and for me it smells like fruity grapes. Maybe because it's purple, but I love it. Okay, next up we have the Cattleya Vickie Andrews, and this was gifted to me from a friend. Hey Michael, I like this orchid a lot. It's got a beautiful frilly lip. I don't have too many white Cattleyas, so it's nice to see this bloom. I got it 2 years ago, so it's time to repot it. I repotted it 2 years ago. It's in coconut husk, and it's almost doubled in size. What I do like about this orchid is that it's got a tight growth habit, so it's not big, it's pretty tidy, it's not spreading all over the place like my Eclandier hybrids. It's just growing straight up, but at some point I'll divide this. It's got a nice fragrance. It's kind of like a little bit spicy, rosy spicy. I don't know how to describe it, but when I get the spicy rose scent, I like that one. It's not fruity. It's like spicy rose. Very nice. You guys are going to recognize this one, and this is one of my favorites. This one is the Patanera Hawaiian Charisma Hawaii, And I got this orchid 4 years ago from Carmela Orchids, and it was very vigorous and quick to bloom. I repotted it about a year ago. It's got a very nice lemon sorbet fragrance. I have it in my living room right now, and I just love the fragrance on this one. Now, oh boy, this orchid it didn't give me trouble. It's a trooper, but Zoe, my cat, she ate two of the new growths when they came out. So it pushed out a new growth, she ate it. It pushed out another growth, she ate that one. And it pushed out a third growth, and thank God she didn't eat it. So this was slow to bloom for me because my cat decided to eat through the growths. But this is a survivor, a very vigorous one. If you don't have it in your collection, go to Carmela Orchids and pick one up. This one also came with that orchid. So it came in one of the Carmela Orchids fragrant Cattleya boxes. This is the Jerry Rehfield Paradise Fuchsia. It tends to bloom at the same time as the Hawaiian Charisma Hawaii, and I suspect it's because it has one of the same parents, the Hisako Akatsuka. This is fragrant. I repotted it last year. It's a small Cattleya orchid, so it doesn't take up too much space. The petals are velvet. They're beautiful. It has a Cattleya fragrance. Nothing remarkable about the fragrance other than it being nice and smelling like other Cattleya orchids. Very pretty. I like this one. I really, really like it. I just hope that it doesn't spread out. So when it's done blooming, I'm going to stake it up. I don't want to repot it, but it's at the edge of the pot. So if it pushes out another growth in that direction, I will have to. Very vigorous orchid. Really like it. Now, you guys always hear me saying I really like an orchid, but I guess I just love my entire collection. This is the Brassolelio Cattleya Pauwela Spots, an orchid that I purchased from Sunset Valley Orchids. It's beautiful, it's fragrant, it's vigorous. This took a while to bloom this time because I divided it in three. So this is 1/3 of the original plant. So it took some time to establish, about 6-7 months. But here we are blooming again. It's given me 3 growths. What I like about this orchid is that it blooms from every single growth. It's very vigorous, very, very vigorous. Another This is what feature made from me this love orchid is that it Mueller opens like a yellow-green, then this bright yellow color, and then when it's starting to fade, it's like a buttery yellow. So there's a transition over time, and I noticed that with a lot of Richard Mueller hybrids. This is a staple in my collection. Anyway, I need to keep going. So the next one is an unregistered hybrid I got from Sunset Valley Orchids. I need to repot this. It is so big. It's got a tight growth habit. It's been in this pot since 2021. Man, we're going on almost 3 years since it's been in this pot. So I got to do something. Oh gosh, I got to build the willpower to get through the ones in these big pots. But this is a lovely orchid. I think it is suffering a little bit because it has to be repotted. So I only got 1 bloom. Love the lip. It smells like cotton candy. And sometimes when it blooms, it has red veining on those yellow petals. It's really nice. Really like these hybrids as well. This one is from Sunset Valley Orchids from 3 years ago. Next up, we have another reliable bloomer of the BLC Mari's Glory. This one is very nice too. It's got a beautiful fragrance. The blooms on this lasted 5 weeks. So this was in bloom before I went to Brazil. I came back and we still have blooms. So this is lovely. The fragrance is beautiful. It gave me a nice show. So it gave me blooms on 2 different growths, 3 and 2. So I got 5 blooms, which is always lovely. The fragrance is quite strong on this one, so if you put it in a room, you're going to be able to smell the fragrance from a distance. This was another orchid that I got from Carmela Orchids. At this point, I only have 1 orchid that I got from that haul a couple of years ago that didn't bloom, and that's the BLC Cocoa Head, I believe it's called. So I'm still waiting on that one, hopefully this year, but this one is perfect. Okay, the last orchid that I'm going to show you that's in bloom is my Neophonetia, or shall we say Vanda Falcata, by Hisui. Now, this is a species. This is not my original Neophonetia Falcata orchid. That one is still in rehab. It has not bloomed yet. But this one I got gifted from my mom. So I was happy to see this blooming. It's got a lovely nighttime fragrance. These don't bloom that often. They're not super fussy. They bloom maybe twice a year, but when they bloom, that like jasmine, gardenia nighttime fragrance. It smells like an expensive perfume. I absolutely adore it. I'm really happy with my collection right now. Everything is getting more fertilizer. I'm repotting. I'm on top of things. I'm going to have a lot more free time to dedicate to the collection. I'm injured right now from my sports. I'm going to be out for a couple of weeks. So I'll put more effort into the collection and you guys will see updates along the way. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.